Hello everyone, welcome back. About a month ago, we went out to the Dallas International Guitar Festival, which is one of our absolute favorite guitar shows of the year, and we had an awesome time. While we were at the Dallas International Guitar Festival, we sat down with Jimmy Wallace, who puts on the show. If you've been watching our videos for a long time, you've probably seen Jimmy Wallace in some of our videos. He puts on the Dallas Guitar Show. He is also a very accomplished guitar player. He has a very cool line of guitars and pickups that he does as well. And just all-around cool guy. Because of that, we wanted to sit down and kind of dig in a little bit more into him starting the Dallas Guitar Show, him making the Jimmy Wallace guitars, some of the music he's working on right now. He did just release an album, so we did talk about that. We really thought it would be great to sit down and kind of dig in a little more on some of the stuff. So that's what we did here. Big thank you to Jimmy for taking the time out of his very busy schedule to hang out with us. And we had a lot of fun, so let's get into it. Jimmy, thank you so much for being here, man.
Thanks for being here yourself.
This is Jimmy Wallace. He makes this whole show happen, as well as running a wonderful shop here in Dallas, Texas. He has his own brand of guitars. He has his own brand of pickups. He's had much success in the music industry, both as a player and as a dealer and doing all this. And so we want to sit down and talk a little bit today. So thank you for being here, man. It means a lot. So let's talk about the Dallas Guitar Show first. How long has this been going on, and when did it become your responsibility, and kind of how did that all happen?
Well, this is the 47th event. It's the 48th year because we skipped a year during COVID. So it started, the first show was in 1978 at the Sheraton Mockingbird, which is not too far from here. There was 13 dealers, one Japanese dealer, Yasuhiko, Paul Hamer was there, Tom Whitrock, Larry Briggs, myself, and there was a couple of bursts there. There was an original V, there was an original Explorer, the whole thing. I mean, we didn't really even know what to do. We would just kind of sit down next to each other. There weren't a lot of guitar stands, and so we just kind of traded amongst ourselves, and the public kind of came in. It was $1.50 admission, to get in, which was a lot. That was way more than a movie was in 1978. So it started then, and I've been to all 47 shows.
That's awesome.
I bought the show about 7 or 8 years later after Charlie Wirtz died, but I was involved in the original concept of the show with Tom Van Hoos, Dr. Van Hoos, Doug Wilker, Charlie, and myself. We got together on a Sunday afternoon. I'm from Oak Cliff, Texas, which there's a couple other famous people from Oak Cliff. Look it up. And so we met on a Sunday afternoon and said, man, what if we rent like a meeting room or something, and we all bring our guitars, and maybe we can trade some stuff and get some new ones. And that's kind of how the whole thing started. And 1978 was the first year. So.
And now it's become the biggest one in the world. Congratulations.
Thank God. Yeah. Thank you.
That's a perfect segue. After doing the show this many years, what still gets you excited about putting on the show, and what kind of still gets you excited about running a booth at the show? Because it's two very different things.
It's evolved, it's escalated, because I still love the fact that I may find the guitar I want. I still have that heart of a kid. I love, not saying this because you're sitting here, I love you experiencing this show. How old are you?
I'm 27.
Okay. So I was 6 years younger than you are my first year of the show. And so I see that glimmer in your eye when you're in this building and you watch it. I love watching you. I love watching the guys that still love it as much as I do. And I just love guitars, and that's what we started for. And the reason we added music is because, performance is the inspiration. We buy these things to inspire us to go make music. And that's where I've always tried to melt the two. A lot of guys say, well, it needs to just be a guitar show. Well, this is a guitar show to me. There's guitars. Now some guys are going to go play them. I'm going to watch Sonny Landers play. I'm going to go, dude, I'll never play so loud like him, but I'm sure going to try. You follow what I'm saying? Yeah. And so it's just, we melt the two together so somebody will have an amazing celebration of the guitar.
It's awesome. And I think this is that.
Yep.
All weekend, which is awesome.
Yep.
That's why we come every year, and this is our favorite show. So you've been collecting, playing, dealing all these years. You just said you still are looking for stuff for you. What's something that you're still after? What's a guitar that you haven't found yet for the personal collection that you're looking for?
Well, I love guitars. I've been kind of on a Firebird kick for 15 plus years, and I still love finding Firebirds. I just got a Cardinal Red 1 you know,
Yeah.
that
How many of those do you think there are?
I don't know, you know, and I don't know. I still have from when I was a teenager, Gibson actually issued a color chart with real paint on it, and I still have mine from the music store I grew up going to with all the color chart, you know. And so I've owned 2 of the original Explorers for about 10 years apiece. I've owned 3 of the Vs, 2 of the original 58s, and then 1 of the 62s that had chrome parts on it. So I loved those guitars. I've owned numerous bursts through the years. I've owned April of '54 Strat for ages. I owned I hope I'm not boasting, I'm just answering your question.
No, that's what
I owned a factory black 56 that Eric Clapton tried to buy from me, and I wouldn't sell it. But I said, will you sign it? And he took a key from the car he was driving here in Dallas for a while and etched EC in the back of it. So I've had the privilege of buying guitars to play long before they became worth what a very expensive house would be, you know. And we still deal in bursts. We've sold 3 bursts in the last 2 years, which for me, that's a lot, you know.
We played one of them.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
And so I still love them. I mean, a sunburst is not just a money object. I mean, it's an incredible guitar with an incredible reputation for a reason.
Yeah.
An Explorer is an incredible instrument. You know, a Flying V is an incredible instrument. When I played with a guy named Bugs Henderson for years, we opened for Albert King, you know, and so I held the Albert King V with Albert King being the one to hand it to me. That in my life was a huge privilege, you know, and so I've been incredibly blessed to have those experiences in my life, and, you know, I hope you have those experiences, and I hope you have some of them here by the incredible guys we bring here, you know. I mean, the cool thing I love about what we've all created here, because if you've attended, you're part of the creation of it, is you can walk up to Sonny Landau. If Eric Johnson's playing here, you can walk up to Eric Johnson. He will actually talk to you, you know. And so we just try to create an environment that all the guitars we just talked about are going to walk in the door here. They're going to be in somebody's booth. There's hopefully going to be an example of just about everything somebody would love to see in their life. You know, we used to call this a guitar show. I can show you pictures of our early booth that I literally would bring things out that I had no intention of selling, but we all wanted to show them, not to boast, but so a kid can pick up and explore. Right. And I would let them, dude. You know, when I was in my 20s, and, you know, I would hand somebody the Flying V, and they'd plug it in and play it for 30 minutes and everything. And so we still, if you come in our shop, our attitude is, if it's in this shop, you can play it.
Yeah, I love that.
Even a burst.
Yeah.
I mean, because
that's what happened with us.
If we don't allow that, then where's somebody going to play a burst?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The guys that actually deal in them, you know, everybody has a heart that somebody experiences it. Yeah. You know, and so dude, I'll just say it again. I still love guitars.
That's awesome. Yeah, they're meant to be played. I love that you have that attitude. And when we visited the shop last year or 2 years ago, however long it's been, that was the experience we got. We played it all. Nothing was too exquisite to be played. So
Well, I want to tell you, you're doing a good job.
Thank you, man. We appreciate that. So we recently checked out a set of the Jimmy Wallace pickups, specifically the 60s Hot 60s Strat pickups. Yes. They're in a Strat. I'm absolutely blown away because they have the vintage thing that you're looking for, but they're like way hotter, but they don't sound modern. And that for me is what I was looking for, and I'm really enjoying them. We showed it in a video about modding guitars. If you want to check that out, check it out. But even after we started filming and just spending time with that guitar, those pickups have really they've impressed me a lot more than I expected, and I had high expectations coming from you. But how did you get into pickups, and how did that all come about? Because
it's kind of the same way I got into being involved with Les Pauls and the whole Gibson influence and the whole Fender influence there and everything is So we started building guitars for fun. I started building guitars because I wanted to have fun, you know, and then because we had strong Japanese relationships, you know, they would come over and come to the shows, and they would, you know, see us play. It was not a result of social media or an agent or anything. It's just kind of an evolution of somebody coming to the show.
Yeah.
And so I started playing some things that we'd built, and friends would say, "Would you build this for me?" And we did, and you know, and a good friend of mine and I do all this together, Harry Browning, and so then my Japanese customers came in and said, "Can you do this and that and this and that?" And then so I started working with all our stuff's done in the United States with some pickup designs, and you know, I took my favorite vintage guitars and said, let's emulate this. Let's do this, read on it the whole bit. We sussed out, you know, all the components and everything and just said, here we go. Yeah. And it's been a huge, unplanned success. All our guitars have our pickups in them. You know, a good many of them go to Japan, but we do custom orders. Like if you order a guitar, I'm going to build it for you. You're going to tell me what pickups you want. The Hot pickup came about as a result of a very famous Japanese guitarist, which I can't think of his name, said, can you get, you know, higher output? Yeah. I said, heck yeah. So here we go. That's awesome. And that's how it started. Now they order a lot of the guitars they get from us with the 60s Hot pickups.
Yeah.
Yep.
I will attest, last time we were in Japan, we ran into a bunch of Jimmy Wallace guitars and all the high-end stores, so that was very sick. And it was so surreal. Me and Thomas, I remember looking at this glass case, we're like, those are Jimmy's guitars. That's wild. We are 7,000 miles from home right now, and they're still being celebrated, so that was super cool. But
very cool.
Awesome. Last thing I want to ask you is, I know you have a new record coming out.
For the first time, you know, I've always had the big band, the Stratoblasters, which is, you know, 4 killer singers, 3 guitar players, B3, you know, on and on and on. But I, for the first time in my life, I started doing a trio, which is a test for me because, you know, you go from playing in this kind of guitar ensemble where you're playing a part and the guy next to you is playing a part and the whole deal, to doing a trio, which is, you know, another, that made me feel young again because like I hadn't done a trio since the garage, you know, in high school. And so this record is just my bucket list record. I'm in great health, not talking about bucket lists like I gotta go climb a mountain before we do this, but you know, it's got a couple of Beck songs, it's got some Beatles songs on it, it's got things that I loved and always wanted to do a version of, and so we kind of made them our own. And you know, I you know, committed sacrilege and, you know, didn't play the Harrison parts exactly like Harrison, and so it's, you have to listen to it.
Yeah, I'm excited to.
And so it's just fun. So we, you know, it's called Jimmy Wallace and the Mighty. So it's going to be all put on streaming. I'm old school, so we press CDs and we press vinyl.
As you should, yeah.
And, but it'll be on all the streaming formats soon.
Cool. Well, we're excited to hear it, man. Before we go, we did want to plug that you guys are working on a documentary about this whole festival. I know it's coming soon. I've been hearing about it for a while, but I still haven't seen any of it yet. What's going on with that?
It's called A Guitar Story. And it's the story of the 47 years and the whole birth of the Dallas International Guitar Festival and all the people that have played it and people's commentaries. And, you know, it's got a lot of notable guys in it. I can name drop, but, you know, it's just kind of the story of our life in the show and the evolution of it. And we're going to show it for the first time here at the show at 2 o'clock on Saturday and 2 o'clock on Sunday. Perfect. And so I hope you guys can check it out when you're here. Watch it for a minute. And anyway, we're very, very excited. Stay tuned on the distribution of it and the availability of it. I'm sure at some point it'll end up on YouTube.
Perfect.
But we'll probably release some clips pretty soon. But I'm really proud of it.
Yeah.
You know.
That's awesome. Well, I can't wait to see it. Dude, thank you so much for taking the time, especially today in the middle of your show that you've been waiting all year for to talk to us, man. It means a lot, and thank you for having us every year.
Thank you guys for everything you do as well.
Man, likewise. Big thank you to Jimmy Wallace for taking the time to sit down with us today. It's definitely a really hectic day right now, being that we are in the middle of the dealer day for the guitar show that he's putting on, so I really appreciate him taking the time to hang out and talk with us today. It was a lot of fun. Hope you guys have enjoyed it as well. If you guys want to see more interviews like this, definitely let us know down below in the comments. We have a lot of fun doing these, so if you guys enjoy watching them, then we'll make more happen. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and we will see you in another video soon. Bye.